Hello and welcome to another episode of Never Onside. Hi, this is Joseph, and joining me as usual is Mayur. And in this episode, we'll be covering the top five leagues and the title races which are happening right now. And also, we'll take a look at the key topics in the last week with um, Mayur's favorite Messi with a potential return to his favorite club, Barcelona. And yeah, let's get into it. So this was the game week 30, and if you see the matches, you would notice the Liverpool Arsenal match, which was the biggest blockbuster of the weekend, and it turned out to be as good as we thought it would be. And considering what was at stake, it was a really great match to watch. Let's start from the top where United won 2-0 against Everton, where they completely dominated the game with Bruno Fernandes playing a deeper role and pulling all the strings from midfield. And something which was very noticeable is that Eric Ten Hag has dropped Burgos for the third game in a row, I think, second or third game in a row, which shows that United are shifting to a different type of game, and also the output which Burgos was giving was not, you know, instrumental in us scoring goals or things like that. It's just that he brings a lot of solidity to the midfield with his key attacking and defensive work rate. But without him, I think we are much more fluid, and especially in certain games, we are way better off without him. Especially in this Everton game, also you saw that Marshall came off the bench, which is a huge boost for us, considering that we are into the last gasp of the Premier League, where everything is going to be decided in the next few days. And a key update is that Rashford is injured and potentially out for some time, right?
Yes, so
Which
it's not
is
yet mentioned by ETH as
yeah,
well. So we'll have his press conference tomorrow before the Europa League game. So that is when we might get some news.
yep. So yeah, and moving on to the Newcastle Brentford match, Newcastle finding is to win again. They look galvanated and like they're ready to fight it out for the for the fourth spot. And also you could see that Leicester, after sacking Brendan Rodgers, lost the game against Bournemouth, which is kind of a what do you call a relegation battle there. And the surprising result was Spurs winning against Brighton,
Right.
which uh, considering that Conte was sacked, I thought Brighton would be all over Spurs, and they were to an extent. It's just that they couldn't capitalize. There were a lot of controversial decisions by the ref, and eventually they gave an apology to the Brighton club for the mistakes that they did during the match. There were some blatant errors, and the commentator was absolutely fuming. You could hear him say that these guys must be sleeping in the VR room, and especially at the last moment, I think someone pulled Dunk's shirt inside the penalty box, and the commentator said you would get a penalty only if you rip off someone's shirt in this game. So that is the extent to which it went. It was ludicrous how bad the refereeing and especially how VR was. Yeah. And did you watch the City match, Mayur?
Yes. So again, the usual. If people are not aware, Southampton were able to get few points and they knocked them out in the cup as well. So
Yeah.
Southampton has been kind of a bogey team for City. And in the first half, we saw City were struggling. Southampton does not like. Southampton likes to press the two midfielders, which were Stones and Rodri, and not, they don't like to attack on the back line and on goalkeeper. So that is what we saw. They invited City defenders to play the ball if they could, and as a result, City struggled in the first half. But second half, again, they made few technical changes and they were able to find those wingers. And were eventually, once it was they were able to find those wingers, they started to find the midfield players as well. So in the second half, it was a rampant City performance. Haaland just scoring goals for fun. Grealish, who has been really good in
Right.
the past a few games, and he has shown how he took his time to settle in the squad, but now he looks like important
Very
part of that attack.
yeah, right. So, how was the Liverpool Arsenal match? What are your thoughts on that?
So actually, we watched the match together, both of us, and it was an interesting game. First, in the first 30 minutes, when they scored the goal, we thought it's easy going for Arsenal, and they will easily win today's game.
I
But
thought it
then,
would be 4-0 or
yeah,
5-0, judging by how fast Arsenal scored. And the two goals they scored, it was with such ease that you would wonder where is the Liverpool defense, right?
yes, and then we saw Klopp made some changes. He introduced Trent to play as the double pivot alongside Fabinho, and we saw that he was able to progress the balls, and Konate was left to defend the right hand side area. Initially, they struggled a bit. We were thinking, why is Trent not able to get the ball? But the both the two goals which Arsenal scored were scored from that left hand side because of Martinelli running behind the space which was left. So interesting to see how Trent's new role will be used. Whether they like to go with what Pep and Arteta does, likes to take Zinchenko in stones for City. So whether that is a new role Trent can fit in, I am not so sure, because he does not have that necessary qualities where progression of ball and
Right.
being able to turn and everything is needed. But he can pass the ball very well, which we saw, and it gives Salah a lot of freedom to go ahead. So interesting stat from this game: Salah had the most XG he had in a Premier League game, and the XG for Liverpool in this match was more than they had against United, which was the 7-0. So
Oh
interesting
my
fact,
God.
but they weren't able to get any result
That is
apart from that
interesting.
Konate miss.
Yeah, so couple of players that stood out was Konate in the second half was absolutely bossing the defense, and people couldn't get past him. And once they squeezed Arsenal in, uh, it was difficult for them to get out. In the second half, you saw that Liverpool was dominating the game completely. Arsenal kind of struggled in the second half with Jesus um, not being able to hold up the ball against two big defenders, and Salah missing the penalty again. I think it's a second penalty in a row, which is very unlike someone like a pure goal scoring player like Salah. It shows that his mind is not in the right place. Maybe his form is not the greatest. Even the big players have this kind of issues, and I'm sure next season both Van Dijk, Salah will have to put their heads, at the right place and start performing, because or else this Liverpool side will struggle unless they get a lot of reinforcements in the transfer window.
So now this opens the Premier League race. As we are aware,
Yeah.
City are 5 points behind, but they have a game in hand. So if they win that, it will be 2 points in between the two top two clubs. And interesting fact is, both the clubs need to win if they want to get the trophy. Isn't it's still in their hands? They are not dependent on the other teams. If they win their matches, they will be able to win the trophy itself. So it's a very interesting place where City not necessarily now depend on Arsenal. If they win all their games, they will be able to win the title as well. So, host, what are your predictions? Are you still
Oh, I
firm
thought
on
that
Arsenal?
Arsenal had to lose against City for
Yes, yes,
them to
that's
win.
what City has to win, right? That's
So,
what City
yeah,
will
so
win.
City has to win all their matches, and Arsenal have to make sure they don't lose against City and win all the other matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what are your
So
opinions, host? Still
this
Arsenal's
this
title?
is tight. This is very tight, and this is what we wanted. I wanted Arsenal to um, bottle it at the end, but I don't know. They have been very impressive the way they have performed with such a young squad that you feel that they deserve to win it, even though I don't want them to. And that is something which is which is going to play out in the coming weeks. And I think Arsenal might just hold on to it, because if they had lost this game, maybe I would have thought, yeah, there is a chance. But then Arsenal will be, revitalized, and they will play the remaining matches well, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, City also have a tough run in Champions League, so that
Right.
takes away half of the pressure of
Focus,
Arsenal, I guess.
focus.
Yes,
Yeah.
because Arsenal will be solely able to concentrate on Premier League. So
Right, right.
interesting to see how things turn out. So
Yeah.
that's it for Premier League Game Week 30 review. Now let's move on to